George Clooney, esteemed Hollywood actor, has a total net worth of a whopping $550 million.
Never leave the cave without it.
With all the movies we've seen him in, you might assume that he got his riches from the silver screen. If you did, then you'd be wrong. In this video, we'll be discussing how George Clooney grew his passion into a $1 billion business. Stick around until the end to find out the golden rules his management style lives by. A taste for tequila. First, let's talk tequila. Tequila is a distilled alcoholic beverage made primarily from the fermented juice of the blue agave plant, which is native to Mexico. Tequila is celebrated for its complex flavor profiles, which can range from herbal and earthy notes to more woody flavors. It's often mixed with cocktails like margaritas and palomas, or shot with salt and a slice of lime. Not only does it taste good, but it also has huge cultural significance in Mexico. At this point in time, George Clooney had already done multiple award-winning acting performances, but he needed something more. Sure, acting paid good, but the creative satisfaction left a lot to be desired. He soon realized that his hefty acting bill was taking a lot away from the money that could go into production of the film.
Who the is this?
George Clooney knew that he could give more, and so he did, cutting his paycheck shorter for multiple films and instead gambling on his residual pay when the film did well. But when a film of his does poorly, George Clooney would be left with nothing but a bad payday. Clooney needed a fallback option, something that could support his love for movies without sacrificing his lifestyle. Clooney needed a break from this financial standoff, and so he went on a vacation to Jalisco, Mexico, where he and his best friend, Rande Gerber, had been building a vacation home. And since Mexico is the origin of tequila, it would only make sense that Casamigos would find its start there as well.
Welcome to Mexico.
The tequila that houses built. During the construction of their vacation homes, lovingly named Casamigos as a play on the words casa and amigos. George and Randy's loving friendship started almost 30 years prior to the construction of their vacation homes, built on a mutual love of tequila, which they discovered together at a local bar. This bar hopping tradition stayed true even during the construction of their vacation homes. Drinking tequila was simply something they would do to pass the time, until Rande had the great idea of creating their own house tequila, turning their passion into artistry. Of course, at the time, this house tequila was seen more as a passion project than an actual business, a special tequila they could give to friends and family as a gift whenever they found themselves together or wanted to reach out. It is then that the gears started turning. Clooney and Gerber wanted the perfect recipe that fit their palate. The tequila had to go down smooth, be flavorful enough by itself without any additives, and of course it had to be satisfying without inducing a hangover, something every tequila drinker wishes. And they got exactly what they wished for, a distillery that could manufacture the sweet tequila drink of their dreams, delivered in plastic bottles to their home. All three worked out a deal, and eventually their own private distillery was churning out their own brand of tequila. All it needed now was a name that felt like home, and no other name made them feel more at home than Casamigos. Going global. Casamigos was a phenomenal success, but only for family and friends. George and Randy's house parties were iconic for their brand of whiskey, and soon enough, more and more loved ones started requesting their own bottle to take home to enjoy for themselves. George and Rande had an expansive network of friends, and their friends also had friends who wanted tequila. I honestly cannot think of a bigger flex than serving your guests a tequila that was delivered and approved by George Clooney himself. Eventually, their network of friends grew too large, and the distillery had to give them a call. Without even noticing it, George and Rande had ordered over 1,000 bottles in a single year, enough for the distillery to ask the two if they were selling them instead of giving them away. Regardless of what they were doing with the thousands of bottles every year, manufacturing of that level was sure to raise some eyebrows, especially when you're dealing dealing with a high-profile name such as George Clooney. To avoid any legal troubles that may arise, the two just decided to go global. Let's go viral. Casamigos officially launched in 2013, and it quickly gained popularity. The brand offered both Blanco and Reposado tequilas, which were well received for their smoothness and high-quality taste. Casamigos was marketed as a tequila for tequila lovers by tequila lovers. A strong marketing plan, of course, but not as strong as the star power that helped herald the Casamigos into the spotlight. Each Casamigo bottle is numbered per batch uniquely, and each batch is tested and signed off on by George Clooney and Rande Gerber themselves. The marketing plan was simple: leverage the star power that Clooney and Gerber had. But star power wasn't the only thing that Casamigos had going for it. Rande Gerber has had a successful track record when it comes to businesses, lending George Clooney the best business management he could give. His one rule when it came to managing his brand was surrounding yourself with people who gave as much passion about the drink as they did. Clooney and Gerber would never settle for a solid no. Instead, they looked to fill their group with people who would always give their all, no matter the odds. And this passion could definitely be felt through their tequila. The sweet and flavorful taste of Casamigos tequila made the drink more palatable for the regular consumer. This unique and palatable flavor helped garner Casamigos multiple awards and flattering reviews from magazines and food critics alike. Even Oprah Winfrey, a woman known for her healthy lifestyle, lists Casamigos as one of the best tequila brands she's ever tasted. Casamigos had a lot going for it, which made it doubly confusing why George Clooney did the next part: deciding to sell. In 2017, just 4 years after its launch, George Clooney would surprise everyone when he decided to sell Casamigos to beverage giant Diageo, which wouldn't be much of a surprise when you find out that the price tag for their business was set at $1 billion. The acquisition was one of the largest deals ever for a spirits brand, and underscored the growing popularity of high-quality tequila in the spirits industry. But even though Casamigos was sold to Diageo, George Clooney still worked closely with the brand. George Clooney and Rande still dropped by every now and then to taste almost every batch. The decision to sell is most likely motivated by money, as all things are. But I like to believe that George Clooney and Rande simply wanted to save their livers from all the batch tasting, and it seemed they saved their butts in the nick of time. Casamigos hate. Under all the fancy and flattering reviews from big news sources, multiple tequila aficionados actually grew to hate the Casamigos brand tequila for a number of reasons. First, many of them argue that it isn't actually tequila. For a tequila brand that prides itself on getting the authentic tequila experience, the brand does put a lot of sugary additives to appeal to less acquired taste. Second, the success of Casamigos was seen as the floodgates opening for every celebrity on the block, telling them that if George Clooney could start his own tequila business, you can too. Celebrities like Justin Timberlake, Dwayne Johnson, and even Kendall Jenner suddenly released their own tequila brands. These celebrity brands are lucrative, but it's hard to overlook the fact that their popularity is overshadowing artisan tequila brands that give the authentic tequila experience. But when it comes to tequila taste, to each their own. And to George Clooney, his $1 billion.